business meeting, at which time we will vote on the applications. You may stay and hear how the applications are decided, or you may leave following the hearing. The applicant and the town board will be sent a copy of tonight's decision. Any other person wishing to receive a copy of a decision can sign the sheet on the table at the front of the room. Those of you wishing immediate knowledge of the outcome of these proceedings may call the Waushara County Zoning Office tomorrow morning. The procedures will be as follows. After each applicant is read, the applicant, their agent, or representative will be asked to present their application, followed by any questions or comments from the committee. Then all correspondence will be read. Then others in favor will have a chance to speak. Anyone objecting will then have a chance to speak. I will then ask for a summary of the committee's field observations and staff comments. Finally, the applicant will be allowed a chance for a short rebuttal. Anyone wishing to speak should use the microphone, state their name, and direct their comments to the committee. I ask that all testimony be kept brief, no more than 5 minutes, and to the point. If you are testifying as a nearby landowner, please tell us where your property is located relative to the subject's property. Tonight's hearing will be recorded, and the recording will become part of the record. Comments based on hearsay or secondhand information, as well as slanderous or prejudicial remarks, will be ruled out of order. Committee has looked at all the properties, and the record will reflect these observations. Any person affected by an administrative decision of the committee has 10 days from the filing of tonight's decision to make an appeal. Such appeals are heard by the Board of Adjustments. Information and applications are available from the zoning office. The county assumes no liability and makes no warranty as to the legality of any construction commenced prior to the expiration date of the 10-day period. I will now introduce the committee. Carl, Michael, Donna, Terry, Dot Poxted, zoning administrator. My name is Mark. First application, and the only application that we have, is a conditional use. Ryan A. Kruger, Nashcoro, Wisconsin, has made application for a conditional use in accordance with sections 58-236, paragraph 19, and 58-454, paragraph 11 of the Waushara County Zoning Code to establish a dog kennel utilizing a proposed 11 by 56 kennel attached to an existing pole barn. No outside boarding, grooming, or training proposed in the AG General Agricultural Zone. Location, an approximate 20.93 acre parcel of land known as Lot 3 of CSM number 5129, being located in the east half of the southwest quarter of the southeast quarter and part of the northwest quarter of the southeast quarter, Town 18 North, Range 11 East, Town of Marion, fire number W7011, Check Lane. And please don't ask me to read that again. Ryan, you want to come forward, please? You want to state your name for the record, Ryan?
Ryan Allen Krieger.
Okay, we're going to, can you kind of just tell us, you kind of told us when we were out there, can you just kind of tell the whole committee so we can get it into the records, kind of what you're doing, or?
I just trying to get a kennel license for my hounds. I got a bunch of coyote hounds that I hunt with in the winter, and they're my own dogs. They're just, I mean, they're my fun in the winter. They're my, what do you want to say, hobby. I mean, just like hunting. It's like people deer hunt, you know. I just got enough that I want to do it the way I'm supposed to do it, get the kennel license, and do it legally, you know, to the up to par, whatever you want to say.
The committee has a few questions here. You want to take the questions, Mike, or you want me to?
Sure. Has there been a recent survey of the property?
Has there been?
Yeah.
Yeah, when I purchased it, I believe in 2005, it was all my corners are surveyed, yes.
Okay, then you know where your lot lines are.
Exactly, yep.
Have you contacted the county humane officer?
I tried to get a hold of, I believe her name was Susan, that does inspection for the kennel license thing, and she said not to contact her until after I went through this.
And that's with the health department, right?
Yes.
There's a county humane officer too. I honestly don't know who it is, but
Okay.
you might be told to contact them too.
So they know.
Okay.
Are you aware of the county kennel requirements, and will they be followed?
Yes.
Can you please describe your kennel request in greater detail? Why do you want the kennel and,
Why I want it?
yeah,
Just for the legality part of it. I mean, so I'm up to par with everything, and that I can keep running my dogs, hunting. And I mean, it's not like it's a business thing or anything, you know. It's just it's for my own deal. I don't breed dogs. I don't anything. They're all males except for one. So, but it's just my own personal use of anything. There's no like watching anybody else's dogs or nothing. No, I got enough with my own. So
will there be any commercial boarding or training or anything?
no, sir.
What does the training of your hunting dogs involve?
Well, training as far as how we do it or how I do it is, I got my older dogs, and then I just run them with my younger dogs. You know, when I get a younger dog, like if I lose an older dog or something, then I run them with my older ones. It's like teaching a little kid. You know, he learns how to run with the big dogs. But
How many dogs do you anticipate will be the maximum that you will have at any one time?
I've got 8 right now. I've got 9 kennels there. I've got kennels big enough that I could have more in there, but honestly, I put in for 12, and I don't ever see myself having more than the 9, to be honest with you. That's going to be great plenty.
We noticed that you have 9, but again, the request is for 12 dogs, so that's just in case you end up buying some more or getting more
Just
dogs?
in case, if I get, how it works with hounds, like, is if I would get a couple pups, you know, to start training, and then I'd have them 2 pups there, you know, in a kennel or whatever, I'd be over, and whatever one's gonna make the cut, then somebody gets the other one, you know. Whichever one's better, I keep, you know. I mean, it's not like where I'd have a bunch of dogs there at one time, you know. It's
In addition to your own dogs, are there any additional dogs housed there, or will there be?
no.
Will there be any increase in traffic anticipated and or additional parking required?
No, sir.
I'm sure you're not planning to put out an advertising sign that,
No, it's all private. It's just mine.
okay.
No.
Will the kennels be at least 300 feet from any home other than your own? And I'm sure they are from when we looked at it.
Yes. The closest house is a quarter mile,
but- Okay.
and that's the one on the end of my driveway at Cross Check, and that's, like I said, it's like over 2.25 a mile, I think.
How will animal waste be disposed of?
Like when you guys were there, there's a garbage can. I put a garbage bag in there, put everything in there to clean daily, and then it goes in a dumpster. So everything goes to the landfill.
If an approval is granted, when would you expect the kennel to be fully populated?
Immediately.
Tomorrow morning.
Sounds fair enough to me. That's all I've got.
Any other questions?
None by me.
No, nothing.
Okay, thank you very much, Ryan.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming.
Correspondence,
There's no correspondence and no one registered to speak.
staff comments.
For the record, the committee has previously been furnished with a copy of the site plan and all the other pertinent data for this application. And I'd like to take this time to explain a little bit about conditional use permits. All defined zones have uses that are permitted outright, such as building a home in the residential zone or having a barn and farm animals in the agricultural zone. In addition, there are uses that may be permitted provided certain conditions are met, and that's what we're looking at here. A use that may be permitted provided that certain parameters can be complied with, so the use remains in keeping with the surrounding uses and area. conditions, conditional use. Some examples of these in the general ag zone are unoccupied storage of a travel trailer on vacant property, a non-metallic mine or gravel pit, a small-scale home-based business in our rural areas, and obviously a kennel. In some counties, these permits are called special exception permits. It is the landowner's responsibility to provide the information that shows the committee this use is still in keeping with the zone and area it is proposed for, and that the conditions placed on it will ensure it will be a good neighbor to the surrounding landowners. When the board visited the property, they noted that the kennels are constructed and populated, and they are currently in excellent condition, being very clean, large in size, with adequate bedding and water. The disposal of waste was noted to be via the dumpster and then landfill. The dogs are all owned by the applicant with no outside boarding or training, and the home and outbuildings are quite a distance from neighbors and have an address number. As far as my comments go, this application appears to be very straightforward and as presented does not appear to have any detrimental impacts on the neighbors or the zoning code if approved with standard conditions.
Okay. Brian, is there anything you want to add? Okay. Good. That concludes our public hearing. The Board of Adjustments will meet next here. We will have our business meeting in the room right over there, Brian, and you're welcome to come in there and attend. Probably should tell everybody to watch out for that guy.
I know, I think we should too.
Talk to Joe Anklin.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, he says he's sick of being a guide for a certain person, so.
He just about drove Dick crazy. And he drives the other one crazy too, so the other one isn't going either.
Oh, I said that in the coming board.
Okay.
That's your guy, I think.
I got one. I'll keep this. Thank you very much. See you later.
I will call this meeting of the Waushara County Board of Adjustments to order. This meeting will be conducted in the same manner as the applications heard by the Planning and Zoning Committee. Please remember to keep your comments brief, no more than 5 minutes, and relative to the matter at hand. Anyone other than the applicant or the representative wishing to speak at this hearing must have registered. Anyone who has not should do so immediately and submit the registration slip to the zoning administrator. The board has looked at all the properties and a record will reflect these observations. Following the public hearing, the board will conduct their monthly business meeting, at which time we will vote on the applications. You may stay and hear how the applications are decided, or you may leave following the public hearing. Any person affected by an administrative decision of this board has 30 days from the filing of tonight's decision to file an appeal. Such appeals are heard by the Waushara County Circuit Court. Information on appeals is available from the Clerk of Court's office and qualified legal counsel. The county assumes no liability and makes no warranty as to the legality of any construction commenced prior to the expiration of this 30-day period. I will now introduce the board. Seated next to me is Larry Tim, Mark Schumacher, John Shirk, and Todd Waller. First item on the agenda, and an only item, variance request by John and Stephanie Fox, the Forest, Wisconsin, have made application for a variance in accordance with sections 58-235, sub B, sub 5, sub B and C, and 58-826, sub B and sub D of the Waushara County Zoning Code to construct a 9-foot by 12-foot one-story addition on crawl space coming to within 81 feet of the center line of State Road 73, 110 set foot back required, and to repitch the roof line on an approximately 12 by 30 portion, and to make interior structural alterations, construction exceeding 25% of structural repairs and alterations, allowed to an existing non-conforming single-family dwelling, non-conforming due to highway and visual clearance setbacks in RS 20 residential single-family zone within the shoreland area. Location, an approximately half-acre parcel of land being part of Government Lot 4 in Section 6 and part of Government Lot 1 in Section 7, all located in T18N 1811E, Town of Marion, State Road 73 and Chicago Point Road. Address, fire number West 7181 Chicago Point Road. John, you want to step up to the mic and tell us a little bit about what you plan to do there?
Sure, as we discussed, it's a 9-foot by 12-foot addition that will be a second bathroom and mudroom entrance into the home. The roof line will be reconfigured for that west side of the house, so it'll just be one gable section as opposed to the hip with the flat shed roof that's on the section that's currently over the bathroom. I mean, outside of that, there isn't any other site work planned.
Okay. I got some questions here for you.
Sure.
Has there been a recent survey?
Yes, it was submitted with the application.
You're sure of the road right away and the required setbacks, including the visual clearance?
Am I sure of them in terms of how?
But you're,
With regard to the setbacks, you're aware of the
you
setback
know where the
requirements.
setbacks are for the road and everything?
Yes, I am.
You had them staked, part
Yes.
of it? Okay.
And as part of the site sketch, it shows on here, you found all the property stakes on all the corners?
Yes.
Yep.
The surveyor identified them, yes.
Right, but they've all been located, correct?
That is my understanding, yes.
Thank you.
Have you talked to the town board and the state about this project?
I have not.
How will you deal with stormwater runoff and any potential for erosion? You have gutters on the house now?
There are not gutters on the house. Well, there are sections of gutters on the house, on the flat section and over the living room. I would have new gutters installed as a part of the project.
Do you have a contractor lined up? Or not?
Yes, Jeremy Thrasher is providing a proposal.
Has he talked at all about erosion control, like putting a silt fence up during construction, that kind of thing? Has he mentioned that at all?
It wasn't a specific conversation, but I intended to do it in terms of what the county and city requirements are.
Okay.
Where's the water runoff now with the gutters? Just onto the ground, or does it go into the ground, into a pipe, or a cistern?
It's just surface to the ground.
What type of foundation are you planning under the addition?
It would be cast concrete.
Will the first floor elevation match that of the existing home,
Yes.
and how much filling or grading will need to be done?
There won't be any filling or grading requirements. It's raised up above the grade by 30-ish inches.
Stated you are changing the roof line, correct?
Yes.
And the finished height will match that of the existing home?
Yes, it will.
Any other improvements planned now or in the foreseeable future?
With this addition, I plan to reclaim as much of the siding as possible. There will be a time where I'll replace it, but that's a future endeavor.
So, I've got the question here, will all other setbacks be met?
Yes.
Will there be enough room for parking?
Yes,
Up on top there.
there's sufficient parking for,
How about for turning around so you don't have to back onto the road?
currently, I'm able to turn around and come out the driveway without any problems.
You don't have to back onto the road?
No.
In the interest of safety, have you considered closing or removing the second driveway that enters and exit onto Highway 73?
So that driveway allows me to pull a boat trailer and come straight into there and then back it into the garage. If not, I'd be backing it off of Chicago Point Road down the long driveway then.
Are there any other non-conforming structures on the property?
I think from the survey, you'll see that the shed is
The shed is,
straddling the right-of-way.
how long's that shed been there, do you know?
As long as I've owned the property, I bought it in
You didn't put it
2010.
there. You didn't,
I did not place it there.
Is that shed on a foundation, or is it just,
8-inch concrete masonry units, but that's.
okay, it's
all
just
there is
sitting
to
on
it.
block then,
Yes.
basically?
are you planning on removing or relocating any of the non-conforming structures?
I was not planning to make any other changes.
Such as the shed. Have you considered other options to what you've told us you want to do to the property?
No, I mean, this was a logical spot because you're filling in an inside corner into the house.
What are the hardships and unique property limitations which would support this application?
So from the unique hardships, trying to think of what I had submitted here. So, there isn't another way to build that addition and outside of the way it's been proposed. You know, I mean, I think that I think it's 3 foot that's really the contentious point of the code conforming. Because I mean, the way that the home is configured to the highway, I don't see another solution.
It's, on the form I have here, it says, unnecessary hardship, pre-existing conditions, changes to the zoning ordinance and structures. Roof repairs are required due to the storm damage, correct?
Yes.
So you're gonna do this whole project, probably started because of the damage from the storm?
Correct. I wouldn't have endeavored on this addition if it weren't for the fact that the roof is in need of repairs.
It's a unique property, correct, pie-shaped?
Yes. I mean, you've got 2 road setbacks that you're dealing with.
You're not gonna obstruct anything with this little addition you're adding on because it fits into the contour of the building, right?
Correct.
Have you discussed with anybody what permits you'll need for the project?
My understanding is if the variance is granted, it would just be a building permit thereafter.
If you were granted approval, when would you start this?
I would have liked to have started prior to the frost going in the ground. At this point, I'll probably wait till spring. I still have some conversations to have with Jeremy Thrasher on getting started, but I don't envision it being cost effective.
John, Mark, questions?
Your uniform
Larry?
property address, fire number is off of Chicago Point Road, right?
That is correct.
How long have you owned the property?
We closed in October of 2010.
So you've had it a while then.
Yes. We've changed the colors twice.
And it's my I guess this is maybe a question, maybe more for Todd, but my understanding is that you'd be allowed up to 25% increase in footprint,
Correct,
not value, right?
correct. Footprint.
And this would be under that? It's just that
It's actually over that because of the fact that the roof alterations, the addition and everything, it exceeded the 25%.
it's not just the fact that that 3 feet is closer than the rest of the building, it's, we're going over the 25% and we're going closer to the highway. So there's two parts of the ordinance we're asking for a variance or relaxation from.
Correct.
Thank you. That's the only questions I had.
John, you're studying the map. You got any question down there?
Yeah, on the concrete pad that butts up against the house, is that
Yes.
sufficient to turn around in? So if you pull straight in with your car and not go to the garage, can you turn around in that? And
Never
right back
tried
out?
it. I don't believe you could. You can park 2 vehicles side by side,
Okay.
but you'd be into the lawn before you get turned around.
Go ahead.
And the shed is on 8-inch block?
Yes,
So is it a dirt floor or cement floor?
it's a wood floor.
Okay. Didn't mean to cut you off, Mark.
No. So you're saying the only time you use that gravel driveway onto the state highway primarily is when you're pulling a boat or a trailer?
Trailer. Yes,
And that's just gravel, the rest of it is blacktop?
correct.
Do you know which driveway came first? Was it off of 73 or was it off of Chicago Point Road? Or maybe you don't?
I couldn't answer that. I mean, they were both established when I purchased the property.
Larry, anything? Okay. That's all I got for you for now. And then, we're gonna ask.
You can have a seat.
Yeah, you can have a seat. And, if something comes up, we'll have you up for rebuttal. So, Todd, the correspondence.
We've actually received a total of 4 letters, and if I may, I'd like to read those into the record. We have received 1 letter from the Department of Transportation and 3 letters from your neighbors. All good. But if I could, the first letter is dated November 28th, and it's from Amy Nicholas at the Department of Transportation, and quote, it says, "Hi, Amy, we have no issues with this request. We do not have any existing highway setback problems at this location." The second letter is dated 12/1. It's from a neighbor, Art and Judy Sanger. And it states, "To whom it may concern, Judy and I would like to add our support for the variance requested by John and Stephanie Fox. Our address is W7176 Chicago Point Road. Please note our support at the public hearing on Thursday, December 14th, 2017, as we won't be able to attend." The third letter I have is from Charles and Mary Plock, and it's basically a note that was provided on a memo that we received on December 6th that just says, "We vote for the variance. Thank you, Chuck Plock." And we have the last letter is December 8th, and it says, "Dear Waushara County Zoning Board of Adjustment, I am writing in support of John and Stephanie Fox's request for the variance at their home located at W7181 Chicago Point Road, Watoma, Wisconsin, 54982. I feel the proposed improvements will enhance the neighborhood without any detriment to our neighbor property. For reference, my home is located 2 lots to the east of the Foxes. Sincerely, Eugene Fenner." And that's all we have.
Okay. Nobody's registered to speak. And
You mentioned Amy Nicholas. It's Amy.
Amy Nicholas is, well, the letter was addressed actually to Amy Schultz here at our office. That's why it said, "Hi, Amy." But
Okay, but who wrote it?
Kelly Nicholas.
Kelly Nicholas, right?
I'm sorry, Kelly Nicholas.
And who wrote the
I
fourth one?
The fourth letter was from
Charlie Plock.
Eugene Fenner.
Center?
Fenner, F-E-N-N-E-R.
Enter, okay.
Hey, nobody have spoken, registered in favor, nobody objecting, no, for information only, staff comments.
Okay. For the record, the board has previously been furnished with a copy of the site plan and all pertinent data for this request. They also visited the property and viewed the proposal on Monday, December 11th. For the benefit of those in attendance tonight, I would like to explain a little bit about variances and the request before us. The applicants, Stephanie and John Fox, are seeking a relaxation of a dimensional standard in the code. The decision to grant a variance must be backed by substantive reasons, which include, number one, that the code is unnecessarily burdensome, and the landowner is not able to enact a permitted use without a relaxation of the dimensional standard. Number two, there are unique limitations on the property that prevent the landowner from meeting the required dimensional standard. And number three, if the variance is granted, no harm will be done to the public interest or the zoning code. It is the applicant's responsibility to present the case and provide the burden of proof as to why the variance should be granted. Personal situation of the applicant, financial hardship, convenience, a growing family, or nearby violations cannot be considered as valid reasons to grant a variance. When the board visited the property, they noted that there were two other non-conforming structures, either within or close to the highway right-of-way. That was the shed and the garage. The property maintains two driveways, one off of Chicago Point Road and one off of Highway 73. The existing non-conforming buildings are closer to the highway than the proposed addition, that the Department of Transportation has no objection to the variance request, the lot is pie-shaped, that visual clearances were not impacted, and that the building addition and lot lines were staked out at the time of the on-site. Staff has reviewed this application and does not believe the variance request to be detrimental to the public interests in surrounding area, nor would it establish precedents for future requests. We do, however, strongly encourage requiring some mitigation so as to make a bad situation better.
Concludes the staff comments. Any rebuttal by John? Anything you want to say or add to what was discussed?
I'm confused by the last statement that a bad situation worse.
Well, at the present time, you've got a property that's non-conforming, and what you're seeking is a variation to extend even further out into the roadway. And so what we're seeking is that our recommendation from staff is that if a variation is granted, let's try and see if we can do something to take some of those other non-conforming structures, such as the shed, and get it out of the right-of-way.
Okay. From a movement of the shed, if that's a necessity and conforming to the board's request, I don't see a problem finding another spot within the property to bring that portion of the property to closer to conformance.
Any other questions while he's here?
Nope.
I'm good.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
That concludes
Mr. Chairman, before we conclude the public hearing, for the record, I'd just like to say that it's my understanding tonight is Terry's last public hearing. And I wanted to thank her for her years of service. And it's been an honor and privilege to work with her for X number of years, however much that is. Not that you're counting. But I just wanted to thank her on behalf of the Board of Adjustments for her years of dedicated work and service to the county. So,
Well said.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. That concludes this portion of our meeting. We'll go into the business part, and we're going to stay right here and do it. You're welcome to stay.